game. So, but I mean, I thought my playmaking was really good. There was, no reason for me to really shoot that much. I thought, like, you look at the box.
As the Indiana Fever find themselves navigating a critical and emotionally charged stretch of their 2025 WNBA season, the absence of their rookie superstar Caitlin Clark has created a vacuum that extends far beyond the stat sheet. Sidelined due to a lingering quad injury that has silenced her trademark firepower on the court, Clark's physical presence may be missing from the scoreboard, but her influence continues to echo throughout the locker room, the sidelines, and the entire culture of the team. Rather than retreat into the shadows, sulk in the aftermath of a disappointing setback, or let frustration dominate her recovery, the 23-year-old phenom has done what few rookies would even consider. She's taken on an entirely new role, part mentor, part strategist, and part assistant coach, following a suggestion, or perhaps more accurately, a challenge from Indiana head coach Stephanie White. Caitlin has committed herself to shadowing the coaching staff during both practices and games. Not just a ceremonial presence or a marketing-friendly courtside figure, Clark is diving deep into the mental fabric of the game, absorbing the playbook not just as a player, but through the lens of a tactician. We've asked her to just be around the coaches throughout the course of practice, White explained in a press conference, and during games too, so she can hear our perspective, understand our decision-making process, and begin to internalize the things we're emphasizing. We want her to think like a coach, to see the entire floor, not just her corner of it. For Clark, long hailed as a generational talent with laser-sharp court vision and a basketball IQ that rivals the greats, this invitation wasn't just a means to stay engaged, it became a mission. With her signature can-do attitude and relentless curiosity, she's taken the reins of this new opportunity with the same intensity that made her a household name in college basketball. From meticulously taking notes during practice huddles to consulting with assistant coaches on rotation strategies, defensive matchups, and timeout management, Caitlin isn't just watching the game, she's learning to command it. Those who've witnessed her evolution behind the bench have been struck by her focus, her vocal presence, and her ability to connect with teammates even without a jersey on. She's quick to pull players aside with observations, offer real-time adjustments based on what she's hearing through the headset, and ask questions that show just how much she's studying every nuance of the Fever systems. Fans, too, have noticed a different side of the usually fiery shooter. From the sideline, Clark has become a bridge between the coaching staff and the roster, someone who can translate strategy into action, and who already commands the trust of her teammates. Due to her on-court credibility and off-court maturity, it's a rare pivot for any player, but for a rookie, and a high-profile one at that, it's almost unheard of. And yet, in the WNBA's current climate of fast-paced media narratives and relentless scrutiny, not everyone has applauded Clark's transition. Her increasing vocal presence on the bench has stirred some controversy, especially from rival fan bases and sports commentators who question whether she's overstepping her role. Social media threads have been ablaze with accusations that Clark is trying to play coach, seeking attention, or even undermining the staff by being too involved. The speculation, as usual, is loud, but it ignores the fact that this entire development originated from the coaching staff itself. Stephanie White and her assistants didn't just allow Clark to shadow them, they encouraged it, endorsed it, and empowered her to embrace the mental side of basketball during her physical recovery. "We don't want her sitting with her feet up," one assistant coach reportedly told an ESPN reporter. "We want her growing. This is how you build a franchise player, by letting her understand every layer of what it takes to lead." And Clark, ever the competitor, took those words personally. Despite the noise, she's remained locked in, her focus unwavering. She continues to show up early to games, engaging with fans who still arrive in droves just to catch a glimpse of their icon. She signs autographs with her trademark smile, takes selfies with kids wearing her jersey, and then shifts gears entirely, grabbing a clipboard, listening intently to coaches' breakdowns, and pacing the sidelines like a general, preparing for battle. It's a split-screen image that captures everything Caitlin Clark represents: the star who hasn't forgotten the grassroots, and the student who refuses to be satisfied with just scoring titles or highlights. For her teammates, Clark's presence has been more than symbolic. In post-game interviews, veterans have mentioned how Clark's feedback has helped them recognize angles and opportunities they missed mid-game. Younger players have credited her with boosting their confidence during tough stretches. "She sees everything," one Fever guard said, Even when she's not playing, she's reading every cut, every screen, every rotation. She's been like a second set of eyes for us. In many ways, Clark is already developing the qualities of a future coach, or perhaps something even more impactful. A true floor general whose grasp of the game transcends her stats. Her understanding of timing, momentum, and player psychology is sharpening in real time, and the hope within Indiana's organization is that when she does return, which reports suggest could be sooner rather than later, she come back not just as a scorer, but as a strategist. The version of Caitlin Clark that steps back onto the court might be wiser, more poised, and more dangerous than ever before. Her injury may have sidelined her body, but it's ignited a transformation in her mind. There's a lesson here, not just for WNBA fans, but for anyone who watches the game closely. Leadership isn't always about the box score. Sometimes, it's about how you show up when the spotlight isn't on you. Sometimes, it's about using your voice when your legs won't let you run. And sometimes, it's about redefining what it means to be valuable, even when you're not. Suiting up. For Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, this chapter of growth, adversity, and reinvention might just be the most powerful of all, and it's unfolding not from center court, but from the sidelines, where greatness often begins. In silence,
on the sideline, so kind of just made a read. I saw she was going to throw it to her post player and was able to get my hand on it, and then got a few deflections out of guard-to-guard switches.
Caitlin Clark might be sidelined with a quad injury, but if anyone thought the Indiana Fever rookie phenom would sit quietly on the bench, they clearly haven't been paying attention to the kind of player and person she is. During a recent Indiana Fever matchup against the Washington Mystics, Clark was anything but a passive observer. She could be seen standing shoulder to shoulder with one of the assistant coaches, gesturing intensely, animatedly disputing a call that she felt was clearly wrong. The sight of Clark mid-dispute, leaning forward, hands slicing the air, eyes locked on the official with laser-sharp intensity, was instantly familiar to anyone who's followed her journey. The quad may have slowed her body, but her spirit, fiery, vocal, unyielding, is running full speed. That electric presence, that unmistakable spark that drove the Iowa Hawkeyes all the way to the national spotlight, is still burning, just redirected for now. Clark's emotional and combative playing style has long been a signature feature, not just a side note. Whether she's launching logo-range threes or threading a no-look assist, Caitlin Clark plays with fire. And that fire, that visible and sometimes volatile intensity, is what makes her special, and occasionally controversial. For Clark, arguing with refs isn't just reactionary behavior. It's part of her emotional connection to the game. It's how she expresses frustration, sure, but also how she expresses investment, the kind of Olin commitment that defines her brand of leadership. Fans of the Indiana Fever have seen it firsthand this season, and longtime observers from her Iowa days saw it even earlier. She was never content to just run plays and obey. She challenged, she questioned, she pushed. That passion became her signature, and, at times, her Achilles heel. One moment stands out in particular, a moment that's now infamous among Clark's early collegiate highlights. Her father, Brent Clark, once had to literally yell at her during a game to stop arguing with the refs. It was a jarring but telling image, a father and former NCAA athlete himself, watching his daughter toe the line between passionate and problematic. Brent, who played both basketball and baseball at Simpson College in Iowa from 1985 to 1988, knew the importance of keeping composure in high-stakes environments, and in Caitlin, he saw a mirror of his own fire, magnified and multiplied. His athletic lineage didn't just bless her with physical gifts. It handed her a relentless competitive streak that bleeds through every moment she's on or near the court. That same streak has made its way into her WNBA career with the Indiana Fever. Already, Clark has built a reputation not just as a playmaker but as a lightning rod for officiating controversy. She collected 6 technical fouls last season, one short of an automatic suspension. Those 6 whistles weren't just random outbursts, they were moments of accumulated tension, frustration at perceived slights, and sheer refusal to stay silent. While some view it as a lack of discipline, others argue it's the cost of caring too much, of feeling the game in every nerve. Within the Indiana Fever organization, her edge isn't viewed as a flaw, it's a cornerstone of what makes her a future face of the league. Her leadership, even from the bench, is rooted in that same refusal to disengage. And yet, the questions persist. Is her passion sustainable in a league that punishes emotional outbursts with swift technicals and suspensions? Will she be able to harness that intensity and channel it into strategic leadership rather than combustible frustration? Watching her now, stalking the sidelines with an earpiece, flanked by assistant coaches, barking observations, cheering big plays, pointing out defensive lapses, it's clear she's trying, and it's equally clear she's evolving. This version of Caitlin Clark, still raw from injury but sharpening her mental edge, is perhaps even more dangerous than the scorer who lit up NCAA stat sheets and sold out arenas. She's learning when to speak, when to stay silent, when to fight, and when to lead. The bench is no punishment for her, it's a crucible. What's also evolving is the public's perception of Clark. Once purely seen as the golden child of college basketball, she's now a more complex figure in the pro arena. Some label her arrogant, others call her fearless. Her fan base defends her intensity. Critics question her attitude. But regardless of opinion, no one denies her impact. And in many ways, her tension with officiating is symbolic of something deeper, a new generation of athletes who refuse to shrink themselves for the comfort of the establishment. Clark isn't the first to question a ref, but she might be the first rookie to do it under this level of scrutiny. With this kind of national spotlight, and still maintain the full confidence of her franchise. The Indiana Fever aren't just tolerating her voice, they're amplifying it. They've given her a place on the bench where her input is welcomed. They've given her the freedom to challenge calls, motivate teammates, and even step into huddles. And perhaps, most importantly, they've given her the space to fail and learn. Clark's growth isn't just about basketball mechanics anymore. It's about emotional control, public perception, and leadership maturity. And as she walks that tightrope, the whole world is watching. Yet Clark doesn't flinch. She thrives on it. Even now, with her uniform traded for team-issued warm-ups and her minutes spent on clipboards instead of fast breaks, she's showing the same teeth she showed when she dropped 41 points on South Carolina in the Final Four or drilled those near half-court daggers that made her a college legend. Indiana Fever fans still chant her name. Kids still mimic her shooting form. Reporters still crowd her post-game comments. She may be off the court, but she's nowhere near out of sight. And to those who think she should tone it down, she doesn't hear you. She's too busy breaking down tape, circling sets on the whiteboard, listening to Stephanie White explain the finer points of defensive rotations, and preparing for her return. Because when that return comes, and it will, Clark won't just be back. She'll be smarter, sharper, and more dangerous than ever. Her relationship with officials may never be perfect, but it will be informed. Her arguments may never cease, but they'll have tactical grounding. She's learning to pick her battles, and in the long run, that may be the difference between being a highlight reel phenom and being the architect of a championship team. So let her argue, let her learn, let her grow, because what Indiana Fever fans are witnessing is not just a rookie learning the ropes. It's the origin story of a future all-time great. One technical foul, one coaching huddle, one sideline strategy session at a time. Caitlin Clark may be sidelined, but don't mistake her silence for absence. Even without the ball in her hands, she's rewriting what it means to lead. During the Indiana Fever's intense matchup against the Washington Mystics, she wasn't just clapping from the bench. She was standing side by side with assistant coaches, disputing calls with the same intensity she once used to knock down logo threes. This isn't an act. This is who she is. From her days at Iowa to her explosive WNBA debut, Clark has never been quiet. Not when it comes to her game, her leadership, or her passion. Critics may say she argues too much, that she shows too much emotion, but what they don't see is the fire behind it, the fire that built a legacy in college, and now fuels her future in Indiana. Even in injury, Caitlin Clark refuses to coast. She's taken a new seat, not just on the bench, but next to the coaching staff, where she's learning systems, adjusting plays, understanding tempo. She's becoming more than a player. She's becoming a voice. And yes, the tension with officials is still there. It always has been. Her own father once had to shout from the stands for her to stop arguing with refs. But that fire, that refusal to back down, it runs in the family. Brent Clark didn't raise a quiet competitor, he raised a storm in sneakers. And now, with 6 technical fouls on her WNBA record already, some wonder if she'll tone it down. But ask the Indiana Fever, and they'll tell you they don't want her to tone anything down. They want her all in. That's why she's been trusted with the headset, the huddle, the game plan. And when she returns, when that quad heals and those shoes hit the hardwood again, she'll bring not just her shooting form, but a sharper mind and an even bolder spirit. This isn't the fall of Caitlin Clark. This is the transformation. From rookie to leader, from scorer to strategist, from controversy to command. And if you're as excited about this journey as we are, if you believe in the fire, the fight, and the future of Indiana Fever basketball, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories just like this.